Hello, everyone. It is another episode of Tailgate Talk. We're just gonna keep grinding with some more good games. It's a good time. We're your hosts still. It's me, David. There's Nick. There's Joe.
Romance,
And
maybe.
yeah, that's just where we at. Cold open. I had nothing planned, so here
It
we
was bad.
are.
It was a bad week. We
You
did
guys had
not.
a good week last night. Last week. Good night
No,
last night.
no.
I had a great night last night.
Yeah,
I'm having an okay night right now.
I was gonna say, how's your night going right now?
I mean, the fact that I don't care about baseball helps.
That's fair.
David doesn't care, and he texts us during the game at the most consequential points. How we feeling? How do you think we're feeling?
Yeah, I'm having
Just
heart
want,
palpitations.
I just want to check in. I want to make sure my boys are doing all right and don't have too much heartburn going on. I
I
mean,
turned
my
it off
team's my
after
team's up
Otani.
2-0 on the series right now. I'm feeling great. You guys are sweating out each pitch. It's a good time to be alive to be me.
Yeah, good time. Good time to be you. Must be nice.
Mets fans
Mhm.
have more character than Yankee fans. It's all the character development we've been through.
Yeah, this is true. We live in the zone of hope.
All
We
I know
we
is that Nick for some reason on his professional teams likes to pick pain.
can't lie. We got Jets, Mets, and Knicks. Let's go. Great trio right there.
At least he didn't pick the Islanders too.
I'm a Mets fan for baseball. I got a Super Bowl for my pro team already in my lifetime, so I'm good there. And the Sixers, they're full
You're a
of
Sixers fan?
star. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I can do this anymore. We should get going.
All right, bye guys. All right. Well, no, it is probably the most anticipated week of college football coming up. We've got Georgia at Texas. We've got Alabama playing Tennessee. We've got Clemson playing Virginia. And who knows who Notre Dame's playing? I stopped caring after they lost to NIU, but
Playing Georgia Tech this week. It's a stout Georgia Tech team.
we will see. And
Georgia
don't forget, we've got the 5-1 against the 1-5 Duke Blue Devils going up against Florida State. Guess which team has that record?
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
even though
crazy.
those records seem like they should be reversed, I'm calling my shot right now. I think Florida State is going to upset them this week.
Interesting. Interesting. I kind of mess with that.
Bigger question is, do they score many any points?
That I don't know. I don't know. I didn't say I knew what the total was going to be. I just have like this weird gut feeling. Like I had that weird gut feeling about Michigan and USC, and I've had these like weird gut feelings that I have not put my money on. And this is not gambling advice, but I just have this weird gut feeling that Florida State wins this game and embarrasses Duke. Like I don't think they win it by like a hair. Like I think they win it by a large margin.
I
A
mean,
weird
Brock
Friday
Glenn
night
scored on
in
Clemson,
Durham.
so
Huh?
It's gonna be a weird Friday night in Durham.
Yeah. Well, by the way, did you guys realize that who was that guy that they had last year? He was like 6'5". He looked like a string bean, the freshman. Not
Nate
Brock Glenn, the other.
Rodemaker.
Yes. Did you guys know he transferred to Southern Miss?
I knew he transferred. I didn't know where.
Yeah, Southern Miss. I was like, I saw that the other day and I was like, I did not know that.
And I mean, it's interesting, and it explains why Brock Glenn really only played against Georgia last year, and
Yeah,
that's why everyone was so like they need DJ or they're screwed. But I,
right.
I mean, Brock Glenn put up points against Clemson. That's probably the best defense they'll play all year. So I mean, there's hope for Florida State. Like it's not like it's. I think at this point they just got to beat Florida. That's all they're caring about.
Yeah, yeah. That's the game for both of those teams. So we're ready to
Yeah.
get into winners and losers.
Yes,
Sure.
sir.
I'll get it started off
I'm changing
because
my
I need
loser,
to
by
take a
the
little
way.
bit of humble pie. My winner of the week has to be Penn State going into USC and winning in overtime, staying undefeated. I mean, that was the big knock against James Franklin that he can't win against anybody but the Pulse. And I thought that USC was going to be the team that had a pulse this year since they don't play Michigan. But I guess we just have to wait for Ohio State to come around and hope they beat the living crap out of them, that they drop out of the top 25 to prove me right in my preseason prediction. But
I would like to
they're
start a
I'm giving
narrative.
them what?
I would like to start a narrative here.
And what's that narrative?
Lincoln Riley sucks. Like
Yeah.
he has great quarterback. He's a great quarterbacks coach, but it's the same problem, the same way you said, or we say all the time, James Franklin can't win the big game. I don't think Lincoln Riley can win the big game. And I think that he got away with it a little bit at USC because he's out in West Coast time. So most people aren't seeing what they're doing. But he's not winning big games. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but USC, I mean, they beat LSU this year, but other than that, like they don't win the big ones. You had an opportunity to beat the number 4 team in the country. You're winning at halftime, and you let a guy play quarterback, running back, tight end, and center. You let the center catch a touchdown on you. Like obviously he's a tight end, so it's not an actual center. But Lincoln Riley's teams are always so predicated on quarterback success and just completely not caring about defense. And I just don't think he's a very good coach. I think Lincoln Riley caught fire when he had a generational run of Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts, and then Caleb Williams. And then without a blue chip guy, I could coach better than that. So
Yeah.
that's the
And
narrative I'd like to
and
start.
and I'll double down on that narrative. Didn't really do anything with Caleb Williams at the top of his game. Like I'm not the biggest Caleb
He
fan.
lost 5 games with them.
I've said that on this podcast. Like I am not the biggest Caleb Williams believer. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. But you had Caleb Williams after he won the Heisman. He was a Heisman favorite by a large margin coming into the next year. And then you drop 5 games in a Pac-12 conference that doesn't play defense. Like we're RIP the Pac-12 first, but like you're telling me that you couldn't get anything done with that generational blue chipper that went number one overall to the Bears to save a franchise, and you lost 5 games with him in college in a league that doesn't play defense. Like I don't know. I've been thinking this as well, so I'll double down and I'll second that. I think I don't know where he goes from here, and I don't know how long they're willing to put up with it either, is my question. Um, how long do you think they put up with it?
Well, I want to hear your thoughts first. How long do you think they're putting up with it?
Mhm.
Your name is David, right?
Um,
He's unsure.
how much is his buyout?
I mean, I
I
don't
think it's a
know.
lot.
I saw something on Twitter, and I don't know how true it is that the AD that's there now is not the AD that hired him.
So we'll see. It maybe another year or two. But the thing that I will point out is that they have made tried to make an overhaul to address their defensive concerns from last year. I think we've seen with other teams, like I'll point out, um, yeah, like look at Clemson this year being now healthy. Like sometimes it takes a year to get your guys in, get your guys sorted out, and go from there. I mean, you know what? No, I have a better example than that. Tony Elliott in Virginia last
Yes.
year, god awful. This year they're 4-1. You know, if you're trying to do a whole revamp of your team, now this is different because Lincoln has been there, but if you're trying to revamp your team, I mean, you're going from Caleb Williams, number one overall pick, to what's his name? Like
Miller Moss.
there is going, they are taking a step back. I think that he's going to get through this year. We'll see how next year starts off, and if next year looks bad, then yeah, I could see his seat get very hot very quick.
The
Hold
other
on.
thing,
You guys keep talking. I'm checking on where Mike Bowen is currently employed at, who's the
the
athletic
other
director.
thing about Lincoln Riley, and you made a great point. Virginia is 20 seconds away from being 5-1 going into Death Valley this week. They almost beat Louisville last week. The resources that Tony Elliott has at Virginia is a lot less than what Lincoln Riley has at USC. Like you're talking about the alumni base alone, just all the money that is in that program for NIL and stuff. There's no reason that USC should be even comparable to Virginia. But yet here we are with Lincoln Riley as head coach. We're making, I mean, we just know ball, so of course we're making that
Yeah.
analogy, but it shouldn't be in the same conversation. The quality of programs of USC and Virginia, and I think it falls on Lincoln Riley's shoulders. And I wouldn't be surprised if it. I think he has this year in the bag. Next year, if he starts out not being able to win the big games, I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing rumors that he's getting looked at.
I mean,
Per
you look at them,
per
they've got a big game to end the season against Notre Dame. I think you have to win that game.
Must win, must win.
for both teams.
Yes,
Hmm.
And not to interrupt you guys, but per Wikipedia, so I'll have to double check this later at a later date, but at least we have some sort of thing. He resigned last year, the athletic director that hired Lincoln Riley. So it's probably not great news for him. Wish him the best out there, but at the same time, like he's not world beating out there. They hired him a lot of and gave him a lot of money to be successful out there and resurrect the program. And the last thing I'll add is if you fall behind in this Big Ten, this era of the Big Ten, it's going to be really, really hard to get back up because there's so many talented teams. And then you don't want to turn into like a Purdue. Now, yeah, that takes years to do, but like one step in front of the other. Like you're really heading down that road, I feel like. So like either you get your stuff together and you become like an Oregon and you become a monster in the Big Ten, or you're gonna fall behind because like Nebraska's on the rise. You have these teams who are willing to step up, and if you're not gonna step up, you're stepping down. So
Rutgers
that's
is stepping up this year. Like
yeah, Rutgers. Yeah, like you have all of these teams that are
Indiana,
starting to rise, and like you're falling backwards. Like you're going in the wrong direction in the Big Ten. In the Big Ten alone, forget about the national picture.
Indiana,
I mean, the thing
Illinois, and
I'll
then
point out there though is if you look at it, and let me pull this up, you've got you've got three teams that are 3-0 in the conference. Everybody else is 2-1, for and 2-2, 1-2, 1-3, and then there's 0-3 Purdue and 0-4 UCLA and 0-3 Maryland. Like it's not that far off from being a top four team in the conference. They're 1-3 right now. They win their next couple of games and they're right back in there. But this
I
is
mean,
it's I mean, right now you've got Indiana, Oregon, and Penn State as your top three teams in the Big Ten. Who had that on their bingo card?
if you say you did, you're
Kurt,
lying.
Kurt Signetti, all he does is win. Google.
I hope the Rose Bowl goes through Blooming. I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's the same with all the
I'm
expanded
rooting for
playoff,
Indiana
but
at this point. I'm a Kurt Signetti.
100%.
I'm turning into a Kurt Signetti stan more than ever. So I
Well,
hope I
I
hope
do
it
I do
somehow
love
runs the
Dan Lanning
table.
at Oregon.
Yeah, so do I, but I don't know. I changed my loser by the way without telling you guys. It's that team in that toilet bowl and who plays in the toilet bowl in that conference. He can't win a big game, and he's the next one to get fired after Lincoln Riley. That's my hot take.
Calling the shot.
I
Because
mean, you
they're
can
gonna
only be
get
born on third base for so long before you have to show something.
yeah, they're gonna get sick and tired of his shenanigans out there. And that was not a coaching masterclass from him. And if you think about it, I know Notre Dame fan here. The only big game he's won is maybe a Big Ten title game, which isn't when they had conference it or when they had divisions, wasn't that hard to do. You were being in Iowa or Wisconsin, who doesn't know how to play offense, and you beat a Notre Dame team, and you almost blundered that up last year. So I don't know. I think you get him into a close game and you're a big time team, you got every shot in the world to beat Ohio State. And I think they're going to get sick and tired of it. You can recruit as many five-star receivers as you want, but so can Brian Hartline, and he's right behind you, breathing down your neck, buddy. Ryan
I
Day
can't
has
believe
not
I'm
had the few go.
I can't believe I'm coming to Ryan Day's defense here, but he did beat Clemson in a playoff game in the COVID
Fair.
year. He did. They
COVID doesn't
has
count,
beat
Mickey Mouse.
he has beaten Michigan before, and he was the worst field goal botch ever from beating Georgia the year they won it all. And I think Ohio State would have won that title game. I think that Ohio State Georgia playoff game, you know what I'm talking about, 43-42 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that was a title game. I think the winner of that game was going to steamroll whoever. I think it was Bama they played. I think Ohio State would have won it that year. So I mean,
But
he
I think that like college football fans, and you guys know this because you guys went to a Division I school and you guys are passionate, and like you're very hot nearsighted, right? like you don't see the wood through the trees a lot. And even like me, who didn't go to Notre Dame, but I'm a Notre Dame fan, like you don't see the wood, you don't see the trees through the woods. Like I think Ohio State is going to get very sick and tired of it if he doesn't fix it. So that's why I'm calling my shot.
I think if he loses to Michigan this year, he's out.
Oh yes,
Especially
this is
with the way
national
that
title
Ohio
or
State
bust
has
for them
looked
now.
and the way Michigan has looked. If they lose to Michigan this year, he's done. Because I think the game's in Columbus too.
Yeah, he better
If
pack his
they lose
bags.
that game, he's gone.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm calling my shot
Man,
though.
he's his
I
bags are
give it
probably
3 years
packing
max.
all of his beard dye.
Yeah, I give it 3 years max. He'll be out of a job.
Speaking of,
Ohio
of
State.
guys who
I
If
know
should,
what
you
his
if
NIL money's going towards is to keep it his beard as black jet as it can be.
Yeah, using just for men. Ohio State. If you want somebody who can build a dynasty in college football 25 to come coach your team and coach you to a national title, I'll do it better than Ryan Day can.
well, speaking of coaches that I think should be fired, Kirby Smart, he should be in jail for assault. That's my loser of the week, Kirby Smart. I honestly, I just saw the clip, so I don't know what. I'm sure he was just trying to
Did
talk
you see
to.
his excuse though? His excuse was
No, what
terrible.
was the excuse?
His
For anyway, hold on. Before you say it, for anyone that doesn't know, there's a video of Kirby Smart like shoving the Mississippi State quarterback on the sideline, and I don't think they did anything about it. They just kind of were like, "Okay, that's Kirby."
his excuse was that he was trying to get to it. He was trying to yell at his defensive coordinator, who is behind the Mississippi State quarterback, who he pushed, and he didn't see the kid. The kid was standing right in
Pushed
front
him,
of you, Kirby. You
and you
pushed him,
pushed him. It's not
and
like
you
you bumped
pushed
into
him.
him. He extended the arms. Like oh, it's one thing to have this happen, but then to also do it in the same year that half your active rosters is sitting in the Athens County Jail for driving offenses. You have the worst graduation rate in the country. Kirby, people talk about the Georgia culture. There is no culture at Georgia. They win football games because they turn the
What
eye and they. It's just
what are they
crazy. Like
thinking having this game in Austin in the same weekend that Formula One is there? Like, why are you bringing these Georgia players near fast cars?
it's so
Maybe
stupid.
they didn't. Maybe the cells are so full that they didn't have one to put Kirby in.
But I mean,
Well,
at the end of the
I think
day, like
I think that's the thing that I'll agree with Nick most likely on that the annoying part or the hard part. I don't know why, Joe, you just muted yourself. Um, but the annoying part of all of this is that there's nothing being said about it at all. There's a question asked during a press conference, and there is no accountability that feels to be taken about this at all. It's just if this was any other coach, then there'd be a suspension handed out. There'd be, a follow up. Like it would have become so much more of a big deal, and he gets like basically off with
slap
nothing.
on the wrist.
I,
Could
I
you
hate to
not
say
even?
I hate to say it, and I don't agree with it, but my theory is that just no one cares because it's Mississippi State, which is a sad thing to say, but that's my theory.
I mean, could you imagine if this was Dabo? Like it would have been nonstop media cycles for weeks, and that's all that people talk about. Kirby, I mean, it already passed by. And look, Georgia's a great team. They kicked Clemson's butt week one. Um, he's built a good football team. I have a problem when people say Georgia has a good culture because they do not. They do not have a culture. They have a racing cars problem that with the kids that don't graduate, and you got coaches shoving players. Like that's just ridiculous. I mean, look at popped into my mind. Stetson Bennett spent 7 years at Georgia, no degree. It makes sense now. He's part of that statistic. I like respect to what you did on the field, but at least with Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State, like yeah, they won on the field, but you don't hear these types of stories all that often. Like you get the one off here and there, but those coaches build cultures that make good men. Kirby's just letting them do whatever they want to do as long as they win on the field, and that's
That's the problem with the college sport right now is that the focus is purely on what can you do on the field. Like we will pay you all this money to come to our schools, all this other stuff. That is the complete focus. It's a money-driven league. It's
Yeah,
all about that. That
it's
you
not student athlete, it's athlete student. I
I think
hate
at
to
this
say it,
point
but
it's not even student.
that's
Take the
the
student off.
way it's branded, right? You're
At
not a
Georgia, it is
person,
it
an
is just
athlete type.
athlete. They do not graduate at that school, so it's fine. You can just leave them as athletes.
Fair.
But I
With
mean,
that, let's
I
go ahead and
doubt.
get into the picks. I'm done talking about Georgia and their transgressions because it's we're gonna just keep talking about it until next week because they're gonna do another thing next week.
Probably. Can't stay out of the headlines.
All right, boys, week 8. Joe, I'm catching up to you, buddy. Nick went 4-0 last week. No big deal. I'm 7-1 in my last 2 weeks. Um, I've come a long way from being under 500, and now I'm 4 games up. Feels good. Feels great. Tebow's speech worked. And David, you and Joe are next. So enjoy your time up there. Not for long.
I
That's
had
all I got to
one
say
bad
about it.
week. I'm not theming this week. I'm picking because that's last week was my worst week this year, and I created a theme for it, and that was a bad idea. And I was like hitting myself. I was like, why did I do something stupid like a theme? So I'm
Tell
doing
you,
back to basics.
tell you what, that Ohio State Oregon over was so much fun to root for. That was such a good game to have the over on. Um, let's get into locks. I'm sticking with the service academies. Charlotte might be the worst team in the country. Navy is hot right now. Give me the 17 and a half. I think that they win by 3 touchdowns easy. Nothing much else to say other than Navy is gonna just run all over Charlotte, and I love the midshipmen in this game, so give me Navy.
Yeah, I like BYU here. BYU's been strong all year. I believe that they have a really good offense with a very, very good quarterback at the helm. I don't believe in Oklahoma State. They haven't shown anything. Ollie Gordon hasn't been who he was supposed to be this year. So I think this is an easy one. I think -9 is way too low.
Before we go into
If you're running
David's
out of
pick,
the what?
before we go into your pick, did you guys see what happened with Gundy this week or during the bye week?
No,
He
I
got
wouldn't
like
be Gundy.
he got like headbutted by his cow. He has a black, it's a black guy because he got
Yeah,
headbutted by an animal.
I can't try.
Hammer BYU.
Yeah, I can't trust that program. The cow knows something. Like the cow knows when it's going to rain. The cow knows Oklahoma is this is going to be a bad week for state.
Yeah, so hammer the Cougars. All right, dude.
Cowboys got headbutted by a cow. How fitting. Give me Iowa State and the Cyclones over UCF. Iowa State, like no one's talking about them enough. I think they are quietly putting in a really good year in the Big 12. I think they're still undefeated. Like they're still, I think, underranked at this point. Like I just hammer them this week.
I think we're in the cycle with Matt Campbell where you talk about how he's one of the most underrated coaches in the country. He loses 5 games in the season. Everyone forgets about him, and then they come back up and remind you that, oh, he's pretty good at coaching. So
And
I think
As
we're
UCF
at
long,
this
is
as
just
long
upward
as they
bad.
win
swing.
by 14 this week, I'm good. I don't care. If That's the next week that he starts sucking it up. But
UCF is
this week, I need
really
them to
bad.
win.
UCF is really bad too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
shocked
think
this line is not bigger.
I'm sure it'll grow, but Pick'ems, arguably the game of the week, game of the season. Give me the Longhorns over Georgia. I just think Texas is leaps and bounds ahead of everybody right now. They look like the most complete team. They were my preseason national championship, no big deal. Um, but I do think that Texas is going to win this game. It's in Austin. Um, we saw what Georgia did at in Tuscaloosa in that first half. I think Texas's defense is miles better than Alabama's. So give me the Longhorns. I think they win easy.
Yeah, Texas -5 here. Quinn Ewers has always had his best games and his biggest games. Talk about the Alabama game before he got hurt. Talk about the Alabama game the year after when he upset them. Talk about the Michigan game this year, even though it didn't turn out to be that big. Like that was a big moment in the beginning of the season. I think he's going to package his lunchbox here again. And I think he takes down Georgia and Kirby Smart, hands them their second loss. And I think they're the front runner in the SEC. I don't think anyone's really going to touch them. I don't think they make it interesting.
Give me Illinois over Michigan. The Michigan hate continues for me. I need them to lose again. I think they'll finally knock out of the top 25, and my prediction will be 2/3 of the way done. I just need Penn State to start sucking it up. But I feel like Illinois is still being undervalued here. I mean, at 5-1, 2-1 the Big Ten, they're I trust their offense way more than I trust Michigan's. Like, give it to me. Give me the Fighting Illini over the Wolverines.
Is this game at Illinois or is it in Ann Arbor?
Yeah, it's in Champaign.
I don't think it matters, to be honest. I think that Illinois offense is really good. I mean, like they beat a Nebraska team that's pretty solid in the Big Ten. So
Still have flashbacks over that game.
yeah, me too.
All right, let's move on to the upsets. Boston College +8 over Virginia Tech.
Playing
I,
tonight. You'll see the results of this before we release.
oh, is it tonight? I thought it was Friday.
The game as of this moment, 7:31 p.m. should have just kicked off.
Oh
Oh
boy.
shoot. Okay. Well, come on, BC. Let's go. Yeah, I didn't that's poor planning on my part. Didn't realize they were playing tonight. Hopefully I catch up with you guys tomorrow when I have a win. So give me the Eagles, Castellanos. Let's have a day.
You realize you're picking BC going into Blacksburg on a Thursday night game,
I
right?
don't think Virginia Tech is good.
Yeah, I don't think they're good either. I'm gonna stand behind Nick and second that as well. I am going to pick Florida though, +1.5 here. Something tells me that this Kentucky team is not as good as they have shown. And DJ Lagway's finally starting to catch stride. I think he's playing this whole game from what
Yeah,
I
Mertz
read.
is out for the
So
year.
perfect. So even better. Give me the 1.5 here. I'm betting on DJ Lagway.
I just want to know we don't root for injuries on this podcast.
No, we do not. No, no, no.
We don't fake them either like Ole Miss.
This is a solely DJ Lagway bet.
Hold on, I need like 5 extra seconds. Let me fake a knee injury real quick, like Ole Miss, before I make my pick. Give me the Cardinals over Miami. It's in Louisville. Miami has been flirting with disaster. I think they finally catch it this week. Give me the Cardinals, and for this week only, birds have teeth.
They cannot keep playing with fire as much as they are. Like I agree with this. I think that Louisville takes care of it. Like they can't keep getting away with it.
And Cam Ward's not going to do this all year. He
My
hasn't shown
biggest
it.
question is Louisville's defense. Can they slow down Cam Ward enough? Because Louisville has the offense to put up some points. But if they can't slow down Cam Ward, this game's going to be tight. It's going to be a butt clencher the whole night for me. So we'll find out.
And then the favorite section over under. Give me SMU Stanford over 53.5. This is purely because of SMU's offense. I think I said it earlier in the season that I was going to go with SMU to hit the over every week, and then I didn't because they screwed up and lost like 14-7 one week. So I was like, all right, got to switch up the strategy. Going back to the boys in Dallas, another one of my projections, I said that SMU would be a top five team in the ACC. That's looking pretty good right now. So give me SMU Stanford over. I need SMU to score points and just Stanford get like 14 or something. We'll be fine.
Yeah, Arizona State versus Cincinnati here. I think both teams have really good offenses. Cam Scatabo for Arizona State and the five-star freshman Sam Levitt. And then on the other side, the quarterback from Cincinnati. His name is escaping me, but he's really good as well. I really like this over. Caught my eye, 50.5. Love it. Give it to me.
Arizona State, I think their quarterback's out. So
Oh, Sam Levitt's done?
I don't know if he's playing this week.
That's not good. But still, I like
I'd have to
Scatabo.
I'd have to double check, but I
He's like
almost took them
he's like
with
Brandon Jacobs reincarnated in his prime.
I
Guy runs
almost
like a
took them
freight
with
train. He
actual
runs like
money.
Peyton Hillis.
I almost took them with actual money, and then I heard that the quarterback might not be playing, so I stayed away from it. But
I'll look it
if
up
he's
while David makes his pick.
all right, David, get with your stupid pick.
We're jumping around now. Now I'm just trying to sow in as much chaos as I can across the country. LSU Arkansas under 56.5. When I made the pick on like Monday, it was at 54.5. They're giving me 2 extra points to play with. This is fantastic. Um, last time Arkansas played a team that was supposed to score a bunch of points, it didn't go so well. So you know what? Give it to me again. I'll go with the Hogs, keeping it under 56.5.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Sam Levitt has ribs injury, so not great, but still, I still have faith.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing that I'm glad that I listened to my sources and didn't put actual money on the
I
Arizona State.
can't believe my sources didn't tell me Sam Levitt was out, but I still have faith. But
Am
with
I your
that,
source?
no, no, I have other sources. You are a source, but I have sources,
Mm.
as my friend Pat
If you
McAfee
need a
likes to
source to
say.
tell you about ball, who knows ball, I'm your guy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have multiple sources, so but
Oh
go
man,
Irish.
go Tigers.
Dinner just got delivered, so I'm gonna go eat.
Let's go Mets.
Yeah, go Mets.
Hey, go Tigers.